Alright, y'all, so I'm on my way to work on my bike, as you see. I pass this church up every day on my way to work, but today we got people standing outside with banners that say, "Stop the sin of racism." Let's go see if we could get a conversation with one of these people. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good.
Talk to me real quick. What's going on today?
We're just spreading the word of Jesus.
Okay, so it says, "Stop the sin of racism." So racism is a sin?
Sure.
Okay. And
It's not treating people equally, right?
yeah, I agree. Okay. I like that. Thank you.
Jesus was a man of color.
Oh, wait. Whoa. Wait. What did you say?
Jesus was a man of color.
Jesus is... Wait a minute.
He was from the Middle East. He wasn't a white man.
Well, why do they always show that same picture then? Who is that dude on the picture?
Well, I don't see a picture of him in my mind of a white man.
But you know that picture I'm talking about that's all over maybe not this church. Actually, in this church as well. I've been in that church as well. They have the picture of a man. He's not of color. My question is this, and I'm gonna make it real quick because I don't want to be... I'm on the way to work anyway. But I agree with what you guys are doing here, but I would like to maybe serve it back to you and say, maybe take it to the next level. Maybe show Jesus up here. Would you be willing to show a picture of an image of Christ that was a man of color?
I've seen many images of Christ.
Right.
That showed him as a man of color.
But would you be willing to hold it up there with that sign?
Well, I'm not in charge of this. See the guy, the next guy down?
This guy, he's in charge?
He's the deacon of the church.
Okay.
He's the one that's organized this, so you would have to talk to him about that.
Thank you so much. What was your name?
Kate.
Kate, thank you so much. God bless you, okay?
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, y'all. What's his name? Bob? Okay, let's talk to Bob. Let's see if Bob is going to tell the truth or not. Because that woman said Jesus was a person of color. I didn't even take it there. I was going to take it there, but... Hey, how you doing? Are you Bob?
Bob.
Are you you the deacon here? All right, sorry, that was too heavy for me. I'm on the way to work. I hope people could, and I hope you don't mind me filming you. I do documentaries, independent films. I'm on my way to work, but I see these signs. I passed this church, and I love the messages that's on that little board over there. They have a little board every day that I pass, y'all. You see over there today, it says, "He who carries God in his heart bears heaven with him." And they always have a new message like every week, and some of them make me laugh. Some of them are very creative. So today I see people, I thought these were billboards, not boards, but I thought these were like just posted in the ground from far away. As I got closer, I saw people holding them. So you guys are what are you guys doing here? Can you explain what's going on here?
Very simply, we're just keeping the consciousness raised on the evilness of racism. Pure and simple.
Okay, you're keeping the consciousness, and I hope people can hear you with the mask, but you're keeping the consciousness raised on this evil of racism, right?
That's correct.
Okay, I agree with that. So, but let me ask you this. Some people would say, "Sir, what are you talking about racism? We ended slavery a long time ago. What are you talking about racism?" What would you say to that?
It's almost indescribable to me that someone cannot see the racism in the world. It's everywhere. It's prevalent. The bottom line is, regardless of race or culture, any attempt to fracture the human family by splitting it by skin color is an affront to God. For we are all his creation.
Okay.
And we have the audacity to believe that all human beings are of equal value, deserving of equal dignity. That's why we're out here. So, do I think we're passing 3,000 cars here in an hour? Do I think I'm changing 3,000 lives? Probably not. But if I'm getting 10 people to think about it, we've done our message.
I think I know this brother right here.
Shagun?
I don't know his name, but is he part of an organization, like an activist organization, maybe?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, maybe not. But
He's just one of our parishioners.
okay, cool.
So our whole goal here is really, this is the Word of God. What we're holding up here is the Word of God.
Wow.
And racism is a sin.
Wow.
And that's what we're standing for.
Wow, that I would say that's a bold approach, sir. I would actually commend you because, you know, as a black man myself, right? I've spoken about racism and I've made the connections to how racism is a sin. I made different connections, and I'm going to speak about that really quick before I leave to you. But I commend you guys for making the connection that racism is a sin. I commend you for admitting that racism is still alive, it's still a thing. I commend you for being out here. Look, they're way down there too. They're on both sides of the street. You know, so a lot of people at home, we might say, oh, white people never do anything to, and you might feel like so-called white people aren't genuine in their efforts. Look, people at home, you have to understand, you have to give people a chance to correct the wrongs of history or the wrongs of their ancestors or the wrongs or whatever. You have to allow certain people, look, just because this man right here in front of me is not a black man, you can't get mad at him and say that his gesture is insincere. I had a white gentleman tell me the other day when I asked him about racism, he says, I think that anything I can do as a white man would be futile. This is why he said, this is why he said that no matter what he does, it would be futile as a white man. And I told him, no, sir. I said, a very simple gesture, simple like this, where they see someone who's not black. Because if I held that sign, like that black man holding a sign that says stop racism because it's a sin, they might not hold it to the same esteem as when you're holding that. You understand what I'm saying, right?
If you look at us, if you ride your bike down, you're going to see we're all colors.
Yes.
We're black, we're white, and we're Hispanic. We're multicultural.
Okay.
So God bless you.
God bless you. I'm gonna ask you one last question because the lady right here, what's her name? Barbara? No, with the lady with the hat.
That's Kate.
Kate, I'm sorry. So Kate told me, and she mentioned this to me. I didn't even bring it up. I was asking about the sign, and I said, and then she said, Jesus was a man of color. That's what she said to me, and I didn't even bring it up. What would you say to that? I mean, regardless if it's relevant or not, what would you say to the assertion that Jesus was likely a man of color?
Yeah, I don't want to define Jesus by a skin color.
Right, but when he was alive, I mean, not when he transcended. I'm talking about when he was a fleshly man. 2,000
years ago, Israeli. So
right.
His skin color was probably darker than mine.
Right.
Just anthropology tells us that.
Right.
But the key about Jesus, honestly, came for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Came for you, came for me, came for her, came for that person that just drove by us.
Mm-hmm.
And the focus always has to be the message of God, the Word of God, and that's what this is.
I agree, and I'm gonna go right now, but like I asked her, I said, well, it's a weird thing to me to like, for instance, this church, I've been in this church before because I was doing a documentary, but to say that Jesus was a man of color and to stop racism, but the picture, and to say that you don't see Jesus as a man of any particular color, but in that church right there, they have pictures of Jesus, and he's lighter than you.
There's all sorts of artwork out there.
Why don't you have any artwork in there of a man of color? If you know he's a man of color, why is there no artwork in that church of a man of color?
We don't have an idea of what Jesus looks like.
So then why is he only one color in there?
Why is it artwork? It's just artwork.
So would you be willing, if I brought you some artwork of a black Jesus, would you be willing to hang it up in there?
We'd consider it.
You'd consider hanging up a picture of a black Jesus? And you don't think that, honestly, you don't think that the adults that come to this congregation would have anything to say about that?
The congregation is a third Nigerian, Cameroon.
Right. But you know, in Nigeria and Cameroon and Uganda, they also have the same image.
You're taking this off the rails here a bit.
I knew you were going to say that.
The color of Jesus, and that's irrelevant.
Do you not see that that's possibly relevant?
What you need to focus on is the heart of Jesus. This is the heart of Jesus.
I understand that. The artwork is a racism. That's racism.
And if you go to the Vatican and you go to an
racism
American church, you're going to see all sorts of colors of Jesus.
Right, but I'm talking about right here, where you're the parishioner here, or the deacon here. I just wanted to know why there's no images of. She's the one who told me that he was a man of color. I wasn't even going to bring it there. I mean, I knew that, But I wasn't going to bring it there because I know most people tell me I'm going off the rails. But I just, but listen, as a deacon of this church, I just want you to think about it. You're standing out here with a sign about racism. Me as a black man, I'm asking you to consider that those images of white Jesus are racism, and you're telling me I'm going off the rails. How can you tell a black man he's going off the rails? Okay, if I stand here and say stop molestation, and someone who was molested came up and started telling you, you couldn't tell them they're going off the rails.
Our focus is very simple. It is to hold the word of God.
So can you take those images of white Jesus down?
No, we're not going to take our word.
So then can you add images of black Jesus? You don't want me to be filmed anymore? That's enough? Why?
It's one of these arguments that just circulates.
It circulates? How does it circulate? Am I wrong? I just want to ask you.
God bless you.
Okay, so now you're walking away, sir.
I am.
Okay, so he's walking away. He fixed the sign about racism. I wanted to talk about the racism that infiltrated the church as it relates to the image of Caesar Borgia, who is the son of the Pope. They have I went in this church before. This is right here on Westheimer in the Beltway. I didn't want to be combative. I actually came with the Spirit of God. But they have images in here of a white Jesus, a Caesar Borgia Jesus, right? And when I ask, why will they take those pictures down, or at least make the pictures more accurate, or at least include images of maybe a more accurate representation, you walked off on me and you say that I'm derailing the conversation. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Actually, it does. Look at what's happening out here. You have people standing with the Word of God in a public area.
Yes, and I commended you.
Stop the sin.
I commended you for that, sir.
And instead we get off on the circularness of...
Circular? Take the picture down. It's not circular.
No, we're not.
Add picture then. Add a black picture. That's not circular. That's not a circular argument, sir. I'm giving you a solution, a real life, valid solution.
What does that change?
What does you mean it changed? It includes. It's inclusion. The same inclusion you have here.
Where does racism occur?
Racism occurs everywhere, including by that picture.
Where in the humanity, where in the human does racism occur?
In the mind and heart.
In the heart.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to change.
Okay. So do images not have why does look at all these different images? Why do companies spend millions of dollars?
We're done at 10 o'clock.
Okay. Why do all these companies spend millions of dollars on images if it doesn't affect the way someone feels? Why does Starbucks spend millions of dollars on their marketing campaign if they're not trying to make you thirsty? You're saying that images don't have any effect on the subconscious of a human being, sir, and you're telling me I'm making a circular argument. And,
no, I'm saying you're derailing what we're trying to do.
Or you're saying you said it was circular, but you're saying I'm derailing. I'm gonna leave, but I just wanted to show my people at home because I have a channel. So it's not about starting an argument. It's about exposing the people who are out here claiming to give the word of God. I'm not saying you're not doing it with your good intention. I'm saying that you could be doing it better. That's what I'm saying. You have a good intention. I'll give you that.
Lord's peace.
Lord's peace to you, sir. So like I said, guys, he's trying. But the thing is, they don't really want to have the real conversation, because when I mention the white Jesus, then they say, oh, you're derailing the conversation. I'm going to go talk to a few more people before I leave, because now at this point, I might as well make a whole video about it. But thank you, Bob. I appreciate you having the conversation. My channel is Jay Lethal.
The focus is on the Word of God.
I understand.
The symbolism, artwork, those kind of things can all be addressed.
It could all be addressed.
Changing symbolism right now.
Maybe
does that accomplish changing the heart? And that's really what we're after.
I think it's a simultaneous thing. I think this is a very good step. I do think this is a very good step, but I think the imagery is also a very big part that's played a part. They've been making those images since the 16th century, sir. You can't say that hasn't played a part in constructing the view of Jesus. You can't say that. I've studied this. I mean,
images of Jesus of color.
I'm sorry?
There's also images of
Jesus but they're not shown anywhere. Did you know that in Uganda, with the 99% black population, they still show an image of a white Jesus? Did you even know that? In Africa, they have a white Jesus. When they show a picture of a black Jesus, we laugh at it and we scoff at it. So that's fine. I'm going to go talk to those black young men over there and see what they say about black Jesus. Because we already know what most white people are going to say about it, unfortunately. They want to stand out here for George.
We're going to have a meeting here at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. They're calling it off, but.
Oh man, didn't mean to block the tile one time like that.
Oh no, it's all good. That's all good.
So there ain't no traffic there, right?
Yeah, no. I get hit by cars all the time. I know, right? So I'm not mad at the gentleman, but at the same time, he doesn't want to have the real conversation. Every time you talk about Jesus' color, then they start saying you're changing the subject. No, I know about the salvation of Jesus. I know about that. I know about the message. I know about his sacrifice. I know about all of that. But why can't we talk about that white image that y'all hang up? How the hell you have the nerve to say you don't know what he looks like because it was 2,000 years ago, but you hang the same image up? It just doesn't make sense to me. So, you know, they're leaving. I'm gonna ask this it looked like a father and son over here. Black father and son, it looked like. I'm gonna ask them, and then we're gonna end the video. But I just wanted y'all to see and tell me, am I being combative? Am I being divisive? Am I making circular arguments? Am I derailing the conversation? When I come up, they made a sign that says stop the racism, stop the sin of racism. So what is racism to you? Is racism only when you put your foot on our neck? How the hell are white people defining what can and can't be talked about now as far as racism? White people already own the rights to every conversation, but now we're finally having the conversation of racism on the forefront, and white people want to monopolize that shit too. Talking about you're derailing the conversation. How you gonna tell me I've been studying racism and living and experiencing racism for over fucking 20 years? And you telling me that the white Jesus narrative is derailing the conversation? Let me ask these people real quick. Say, brothers, let me ask you real quick. I know you're about to go back with Bob. I just talked to Bob. I want to ask you real quick. These are beautiful signs, especially as melanated people. I wanted to ask you a quick question, and don't be dismayed or thrown off by the question. What would you do if I told you that Jesus Christ looked like you?
I agree with you.
What would you say, young man, if I told you Jesus Christ looked like you?
I would agree.
You would agree? Would
like
you?
Chiefs wool, bro.
Okay, so let me ask you this. When you go back into that church and you see that image of that man on that wall, is he going to look like you?
I don't attend that church.
But if you go into that church, you're going to see a man on the wall. Do you think he's going to look like you? Well, I'm going to tell you this. Go into that church, since you're here, spend 20 seconds to walk into there, see the man on the wall, and see if he looks like you. Then ask your question, are they really about trying to stop racism? Because I believe that you are, and I believe some of them think they are. But how can you stop racism if you're practicing racism in that same church? It's racism to hold a white Jesus picture up. They all know he's a man of color. The woman, Kate, with the little old lady hat on, she told me he was a man of color before I mentioned it. I said, and so, why is there a white...
I guess it takes a while for the images to come down.
No, all you got to do right now is it doesn't take a while to take the images down. Take a hammer right now, take the image down in 20 seconds.
I agree with you.
Okay, God bless y'all.
Man, appreciate it.
All right, thank y'all. You see y'all? My black people know what's up. It's not enough to just walk down the street with a fixed racism sign. It's not enough. I'm sorry, I like the effort, I like the thought, but it seems to me that you're just pacifying. Seems to me that you're just putting a Band-Aid on a fucking broken limb. We broke our fucking bone and you want to come put a fucking bandage on it. No, we don't need those signs talking about stop the sin of racism. And I like I said, I do agree that that's a valiant start. But that's all it is, a fucking start. And white people, I need you to do more than that. Yes, racism is a sin, but you don't get no motherfucking kudos for mentioning that shit. You don't get no kudos for saying the fucking obvious truth that racism is a sin, that if you hate somebody based on the color of their skin, that's a sin and Christ wouldn't want that. You don't get no fucking kudos for saying that. You should have been saying that. It should have been before George Floyd got a foot on his neck, and now you want to say the racism is a sin. Okay, I'll give it to you. Clap, clap, white man. You came outside and you actually said the fucking truth for once. But now when I pressure you and I put just the smallest amount of fucking heat to you and ask you what you talking about, like what you got to say about this, what about this racism? You say you want to stop the sin of racism, right? Like I said, what is it, white man? Since you know so much about racism and you know what is and is not appropriate for a conversation about racism, what is racism since you're trying to stop it, since it's a sin? Is the ideologies of white supremacy not racism? Is making a man into Christ not racism? Is that not a sin, to make a man into an image? You made a man that's called Caesar Borgia into an image. Look it up, y'all. His name is Caesar Borgia. That's who that image is that you call Jesus. And they have that image in their church. In their church. But you're going to tell me Jesus was a man of color. Okay, think about it. Jesus was a man of color, but in your church, he's not a man of color. So what is that saying about you as a worshiper? That's all I got to say, man. Until the next time, I need you to vibrate higher.
Oh, Lord, I can't get no help in here. I have set you apart.